Right, friends. So let's start with the session. Welcome to day 3 live on YouTube. Okay. Before we get to the session, as usual, confirm me regarding the audio quality as well as video quality. Confirm me in the chat. We'll start with the session. So confirm me, guys. We got a lot of work to do today. Everything is fine? Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is that, as usual, first we'll try to revise what we have seen yesterday, and then we'll go on with the today's session. Okay, chalo. Let's move on, guys. Okay, this was the problem that we have solved, correct? I'll just open up the Word document, the questions document which we have. So as I told you, when it comes to transfer pricing, we have two, right? One is the main document, that is strategic cost management and performance evaluation, where you have all the questions of all the chapters, which has been picked up from your study material. Apart from that, we have additional problems for 3 chapters: decision making, transfer pricing, as well as standard costing. So I think yesterday we have started with transfer pricing, and I told you that transfer pricing is such a kind of a chapter where we can learn concepts only from the problems. That is what we have done yesterday. So we tried to solve a problem, and from the problem we try to learn what concepts, right? Let me just open it up, fatafat. Yeah. So it was the 11th sum. Let's fatafat look at it once. So what is this 11th sum? What did he give you? Pretty simple. First, he told that there has been a, you know, two divisions. One is South Division, the other one is what? North Division, as you can see here. And he gave you the sales of North Division first, right? So North Division incorporates the intermediate product from the South Division, and one intermediate product is converted into one final product. That I told you, it's a very important point to concentrate upon. I don't know whether you guys remember that or not. 1:1, which means if supplying division sends one unit to receiving division, and receiving division purchases one unit from the supplying division, and then converts that into one unit of final product, that is finished product. That's very important. Okay, so I told you the ratio can be anything: 1:1, 1:2, 2:1, 1:5. So you have to be very careful, because we are trying to fix transfer price for the output of the supplying division. You understand the point? This is very important. Anyway, I'll tell you now, listen carefully. See here, guys. Let's say you have a supplying division A. You have receiving division B. Listen carefully. I'll rather call it as S and R. It will be easy for you to remember. Listen carefully, Nana. S, R. We don't have that model in right now in our study material, but it is very much possible. So listen carefully. You have supplying division S and you have receiving division R. Supplying division sells its intermediate product IP at transfer price to receiving division, correct? Supplying division sells its intermediate product IP to receiving division at a price called transfer price. If one unit is transferred from supplying division, and receiving division again converts that by spending its own cost, which we call it as further processing cost, into one unit of finished good, then there is no problem for me. There is no confusion, nothing doing. Are you able to understand? But one unit of input from the supplying division, because that's the input for the receiving division, gets converted into 2 units of finished good. Then yes, there is a problem. You have to accordingly adjust yourself when you are solving the solution. Now, the question is how? How? Very simple, I'll tell you. Why this is very important. See here. In the last step, if you can remember, when we have done fixation of TP, yesterday we have done, you guys remember that fixation of TP step? Can you please tell me the points once? First column is what? Units. Second column is revenue, that is final sales revenue. Third column is further processing cost. Fourth column will be from final revenue, will reduce further processing cost to get net revenue. Next column will be net marginal revenue. Next column will be marginal cost. And we compare net marginal revenue with marginal cost. I explained you all the logics. There you have to be double careful when the relationship is 1:2. Why? Because the first column, when you write units, it should always be the units of the supplying division's output. It can never be the units of the receiving division's output. See, when we are doing yesterday, we did not worry about that. Why? Because supplying division's output and receiving division's output is nothing but the same, because the ratio is 1:1. So we never had any problem. But when the ratio is different, that is 1:2, then you will have a problem. Then how to accordingly manage? Okay, now see here guys. Here I don't have any problem. Why? Because 1:1 ratio. Suppose if it is 1:2, what happens? This column, the first column should represent supplying division output only. Supplying division output only. Why? Because you are fixing TP for the output of supplying division. You are not fixing TP for the output of receiving division. So the first column has to remain the same, because you are fixing TP for the output of supplying division and not the output of receiving division. You got the point? So in this column, I should only take the output of supplying division, right? So which means when the ratio is 1:2, I should take 1. 1 is the ratio of the supplying division's output. So I'll take 1000, 2000, 3000 only. Suppose if it is 1:2, then every unit of internal transfer from the supplying division will be converted into 2 units of output, which means it will be, say 1000 units is transferred, then it eventually becomes 2000 as the output of receiving division. 4000, 6000, 8000, 10,000, 12,000. समझ गए? If this is the case, then what I have to do? Do not get confused. Do not get tempted. And write this 2, 4, 6, 8 here in the first column. You should write 1000, 2000, 3000 only, because you should write from supplying division's output point of view only. Because we generally get tempted. Why? Because the next column is final revenue. Na? Final revenue is nothing but the ultimate revenue of the receiving division. So therefore, we get tempted to write the output of receiving division, thinking that, okay, let's write 2000, 4000, 6000, and 2000's revenue will write. You should write the revenue of 2000 units only. But here, you should be taking units of the supplying division's output. Now listen carefully. This is the revenue. Revenue of which division? Receiving division. It's the final revenue. Therefore, you should take the output of the receiving division. Output of the receiving division is nothing but 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000, 10,000, 12,000. I will use this 2000, 4000, 6000 only to calculate the revenue of the receiving division, which is nothing but column number 2. Whereas, when it comes to column number 1, I'll still take the output of supplying division. Why? Because ultimately, I need to calculate transfer price of the output of supplying division only. I'm not calculating transfer price for the output of receiving division. I'm calculating transfer price for the output of supplying division. Therefore, I should take 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000 only. Am I clear? This is very important point, Nana. Again, what I'm telling you right now is very simple. It is just 1:2. Sometimes it will be very, very, very complicated. For example, 6 units is to 3 units, something like that. It can be points also, it will go. It can be any combination. It's just simple numbers, right? Numbers can be of any combination. So therefore, you got to be very careful. Now, the summary is, unfortunately, we don't have that sort of a model. But in case if it comes, you need to keep this in mind. Now, remember. The second column, when I calculate final revenue, the final revenue is nothing but the revenue of the receiving division when it sells to the outside customers. Therefore, I should eventually take 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000 units revenue. So when I'm calculating revenue, I'll take 2000 into selling price per unit. You understand that? There, the job of 2000 ends. After that, forget about 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000. So 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000, that 1:2, that is nothing but the output of receiving division. Its job ends the moment you calculate revenue of the receiving division, which is nothing but final revenue over here. The moment you calculate revenue by taking those 2000, 4000, 6000 into, you multiply with selling price per unit, kaam khatam. After that, forget about it. Thereafter, you should always think about the output of the supplying division, which is nothing but 1000, 2000, 3000 in this case, the example which I'm giving you. Why? Because all this hard work I'm doing to fix transfer price, and for your kind information, transfer price is fixed only for the output of supplying division. Transfer price is not fixed for the output of receiving division. Then the output of receiving division, in what way it is helpful? Output of receiving division is helpful for me to calculate the receiving division's revenue, which is nothing but the final revenue of the company, so that from that I will reduce further processing cost. I'll calculate net revenue. From that, I'll calculate net marginal revenue, which will help me to find out what is the money that receiving division possesses, which will help me to calculate maximum TP. Again, I repeat, the output of receiving division will help you to calculate final revenue of the receiving division, which is nothing but the real revenue of the company by selling to the outside customers. From that final revenue, I will reduce further processing cost to get net revenue. From that, I'll calculate net marginal revenue. This net marginal revenue helps me to identify how much is the money that receiving division has got, which helps me to fix maximum TP, because yesterday I've told you the entire logic that maximum TP is nothing but the money that receiving division possesses. Because if you fix TP more than the money that receiving division possesses, receiving division cannot buy. When it cannot buy, there is no question of transaction. You got the point? So this, keep it in mind. Just a small point. Okay, chalo. Now let's revise. So हमने क्या किया? Right. So what we have done yesterday, we have seen this particular question. So in this question, the details of South and North division is given. Already transfer price has been fixed, which was 35, and the following things were asked. First one, prepare profit statements for each division and the company as a whole for the various selling prices. State which selling price maximizes the profit of North division and the company as a whole, and comment on why the latest selling price is not selected by the North division. Third, state which transfer pricing policy will maximize the company's profit under a divisional organization. Assume that there is no capacity constraint. This we are going to discuss today. What is the meaning? See, always understand one thing. Whenever you get something called assumptions in a question, mark it immediately, and if you have a separate book, maintain a separate book for it. Why? Because it's very important. Why? Because in case if that assumption is not given, then you need to write it as a notes. Otherwise, you will not be getting marks in the exam. Many times we tend to leave it thinking that it is not that important. Assumptions are pretty damn important whenever it is given in the question, because in case it is not given in the question, I need to write it as a part of the answer. Otherwise, my answer will not be complete and I'll not be getting marks. Sometimes you lose as big as 1 mark for not writing an assumption. So mark this in your mind. Okay, assume that there is no capacity constraint. We'll discuss that today. State the implications of transfer pricing policy in point C above on South division's profitability. Totally, we have 4 questions. We started answering with the first question, that is prepare profit statements for every division and the company as a whole. Did we do that? Yes. So as you can see here, this is the first income statement that we have prepared yesterday in the class, where we have created what? Profitability statement for which division, Nana? South division. It was very simple. I just took units and then I just took revenue, which is nothing but transfer price for the supplying division. I reduced cost. Many of you might be thinking that it has to be total cost, variable cost plus fixed cost. But since the whole game here is to take a decision, fixed cost, because it remains constant, irrespective of your decision, whether your decision is 1000 units or 2000 or 3000 or 4000 or 5000, irrespective of that decision, anyway, your fixed cost is going to remain constant. Therefore, I took it as irrelevant and I ignored it, and I took only variable cost to calculate the profit. Got it? Next, I went for profitability statement of North division. So the only difference is in North division, you will have 2 types of cost. One is intermediate product purchase cost, which is nothing but the transfer price. Transfer price becomes revenue for the supplying division. The same transfer price becomes cost for the receiving division. So receiving division will buy the output of the supplying division at transfer price, which is nothing but intermediate product purchase cost for the receiving division, plus receiving division will have its own cost, which is nothing but further processing cost. So I just reduce that from the final revenue, that is nothing but the revenue of the receiving division. I got the profit. So here I've seen that supply division would like to manufacture, or South division would like to manufacture 6,000 units, because it is at 6,000 units its profit is maximum. And coming on to receiving division or North division, it would like to manufacture 3,000 units, because at this output level its profit is maximum. So then we have understood that something wrong is going on here, because South division would like to manufacture 6,000 and North division would like to manufacture 3,000. And then we thought that, okay, fine, ye to ho gaya. Let's try to find out what the company wants. So then we calculated profitability statement from the company's point of view. From company's point of view, how will you calculate profitability statement? For company, what is the revenue? The revenue for the company is nothing but revenue of the receiving division. I've put it over there. Ho gaya. Next, what is the cost for the company? For company, there are two costs. It has got two divisions, South, North. South division variable cost, North division variable cost, because the fixed cost is basically irrelevant. I got the profit over here. And then, to my surprise, I found that, arey yaar, 5,000 units is the output level at which profit of the company as a whole is maximum. So this sort of conflict, we used a technical term yesterday. So what is the technical term? Please put it in the comment section. What is the technical term? I'll just give you 10 seconds. What is the technical term we have seen? South division willing to go for 6,000, North division willing to go for 3,000. Company as a whole wants to go for 5,000. This situation, we called it with a technical term yesterday. What is that technical term? Put it in the comment section, guys. Anyway, good morning to all of you. Parth Mehta, Hemalata, Anupama, Diksha, Pavan, Suramagupta, Monica Garg, Niharika, good morning to all of you, right? Okay, anyway, guys, put this. What is the technical term? Okay, there is a special comment over here. Nana, I'm not able to pronounce you that well. Pardon me for that. Afum Aninakwa. I hope I've pronounced correct. So, ACCA student watching from the US, how can I contact you and buy your lectures? Thank you so much for your confidence, Nana. My advice would be you please, I hope you've got WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp to the number that is visible on the screen. That is 9246946444. You can WhatsApp to that particular number and we will respond to you, and accordingly you can buy the lectures. Right. WhatsApp to the number 9246946444. Next, we have Sarath, Hemalata, Anupama, Chetan, Diksha, Sudamagupta, Neha Jyote. Everybody has given the answer. Goal conflict. Perfect. Thank you, guys. So the answer is goal conflict. So that's the keyword. So what do you mean by goal conflict? I told you yesterday. If individual divisions, that is South division, North division, they take decisions which are not in the interest of the company as a whole, then you call that particular scenario as goal conflict. So what is the contrary to this? If the individual divisional managers, they take decision which is in the interest of the company as a whole, we call it as goal congruence. Looking at the scenario in this particular question, where South division wants to go for 6,000, North division wants to go for 3,000, and company as a whole wants to go for 5,000, it's a clear case of goal conflict scenario. So therefore, the existing transfer price based on which we have calculated all these profitability statements, which is 35, is a wrong TP because it creates goal conflict. Any TP that creates goal conflict is a bad TP or a wrong TP. Now we need to fix TP in such a way that it creates goal congruence. Now the question is, what do you mean by goal congruence? I told you already, the individual decisions of the divisional managers must be in the interest of the company. You got it? So which means, what is the interest of the company? 5,000 units, which means the individual decisions of the divisional managers like South division and North division must also be 5,000. Correct? So we need to fix TP in such a way that company wants 5,000 units to be manufactured and South and North division must also end up in manufacturing 5,000. Now how to do that? We went for a particular step over here. Got it? So in this step, what we have seen? We have seen certain columns. Okay, now you guys need to remember this. In fact, if you don't remember also chalta hai, because anyway I've explained you the logics, right? Isn't it, Nana? Right, anyway, chalo, now see here. So what are the columns we had? We have units column, then we took the final revenue of the receiving division. From that we reduced further processing cost. We got net revenue. Then with net revenue, I cannot take any decision because I told you one important concept over here. Whenever you want to take a decision, you need to take decision based on marginal concept only. You cannot take decision based on totals. In totality, you cannot take a decision. If you look at net revenue, all these are totals. This entire column is totals, which means for 1000 units, how much is the net revenue? For 2000 cumulatively, what is the net revenue? For 3000 cumulatively, what is the net revenue? For 4000, 5000, 6000 units cumulatively, what is the net revenue? I cannot take decision based on cumulative numbers. I need to take decision based on incremental numbers, additional numbers. Therefore, I convert this net revenue into something called net marginal revenue. I compared that with marginal cost. And what did I do? If marginal revenue is greater than, I'll just erase this over here. See you guys. If marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, I went to the next level. If marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, I went to the next level. If marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, I went to the next level. If marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, I went to the next level. But here marginal revenue is less than marginal cost. Therefore, I stopped at the previous level, which is 5000 units. And I call this level as optimum output. I call this level as optimum output. Are you able to understand? So optimum output means it is that output level at which the profit of the company as a whole will be maximum. It is that output level at which profit of the company as a whole will be maximum. Okay, so what is the concept? The concept is very simple. If I move from 1000 units to 2000 units, I need to spend 11,000 to get 73,000. Will I spend 11,000 to get 73,000? Absolutely yes. Next, if I move from 2000 units to 3000 units level, I need to spend 11,000 to get 53,000. I'm talking about company's point of view. Please understand. Right now, I'm talking about company's point of view. I need to spend 11,000 to get 53,000. Will I? Absolutely yes. Because I just need to spend 11,000. I'm getting 53. So I'll go for it. Next, to move from 3000 to 4000 units level. Okay, so what's the situation over here? I need to spend 11,000 and I'll be getting 33,000. Will I be interested to do that? I mean, to do that, absolutely yes. Because I'm getting 33, I need to spend 11. If I move from 4,000 to 5,000, I need to spend 11,000 to get 13,000. Will I? Absolutely yes. But if I move from 5,000 to 6,000, I need to spend 11,000 and I don't get anything in return. Rather, it's 7,000 negative. Will I? No. So therefore, I stop at 5,000. That's my optimum output level. Another important thing that I explained you guys yesterday was all these numbers are incremental in nature. Incremental means I will spend 11,000 and I will earn 73,000. After earning that further, in addition to that, I need to spend 11,000 to get 53,000. After earning that, in addition to that, I need to spend 11,000 to get 33,000. So by the time I come to 11,000 and 33,000, already I've earned 73. I have also earned 53. I have also earned 33. In addition to that, I need to spend 11,000 to get 13,000, which means I would have earned 73 plus 53 plus 33 plus 13, and I would have spent 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11. Are you able to understand? So when I say 13,000 is the best option, don't compare 13,000 with 73,000 and think that 73 is bigger number and therefore 73 is the optimum output level. Wrong thinking, because the column name is incremental, additional. Don't forget the name. It is additional. So when I say I've chosen 13, which comes after 73, which means I've earned 73. In addition to that, I'm earning 13. This is very important. Got the point? Chalo. Then, after that, what is that you have seen? Very simple. We have tried to fix the TP. How did I fix the TP? I took the optimum output level. In optimum output level, I took 13,000. I took 11,000. Two columns. And I said 13,000 is the maximum TP. Just a second. Yeah, here it is. Okay, forget about all these things. Now see here, I said 13,000 is the maximum TP and I said 11,000 is the minimum TP. 11,000 divided by 1000 incremental units, you got 11 rupees per unit. 13,000 divided by 1000 incremental units, you got 13 rupees per unit. And I said that 13 is the maximum TP and 11 is the minimum TP. And ये तो हो गया. Then finally, we try to understand the logic. So what is the logic? This particular column, NMR, tells you how much is the revenue, how much is the money that receiving division has got in its pockets. And MC is the marginal cost, and that column tells you what is the money that has been spent by the supplying division. Yesterday, I gave you a simple example, a chocolate example. I don't know whether you guys remember that or not. In that example, I clearly told you that to actually fix the selling price in such a way that transaction will happen, I mean, transaction should happen, it's very easy. You just need to see what is the cost that has been spent by the supplying division, and then what is the money that receiving division possesses. In other words, yesterday there were two people, the buyer and the seller. You look at the seller, you see how much is the money that has been spent by the seller, fix the selling price as the minimum money that has been spent by the seller, and coming on to the buyer, the one who buys the product, you need to ensure that what is the money he has got, and that will be your maximum selling price. Only then the transaction will happen. So I've spent 150 rupees to buy a chocolate, then 150 will be the minimum price, and you have got 200 rupees in your pockets, then 200 will be the maximum price. It's very simple. I have 150 rupees I've spent to buy the chocolate, 150 is minimum price. You have 200 rupees in your pockets to buy the product, then 200 is the maximum selling price. Between 150 and 200, you got your answer. That is minimum TP and maximum TP. Very simple. Right, guys? Anyway, now, so therefore, this particular column, NMR, is nothing but the money that receiving division has got, and this particular column, MC, that is marginal cost, is nothing but cost spent by supplying division. Okay, and then we have seen the logics as well. Now see here, guys. So whenever you are trying to fix minimum TP, you should always think from supplying division's point of view. Why? Because supplying division is the one who has spent the money. Therefore, you need to ensure that he gets minimum what he has spent. So we must ensure that he gets more than what he has spent, or at least the same money what he has spent. Are you able to understand? So that is minimum TP concept. So this is universal concept. You can apply this in any problem, any scenario. Now that's the way we have to learn the subject. It's not like we see one problem and then we try to learn, okay, this is the way the problem has been solved. It doesn't work. Then you don't have the skill, or you don't get the skill to solve new problems. Are you able to understand? Our target here is to solve altogether new models. Therefore, we will understand, we will learn concepts as adjustments, not like problems. There's a lot of difference between learning problems as problems and learning problems as adjustments, because adjustments has got universal appeal. Once you learn an adjustment, it can be applied in any problem, in any scenario. Are you able to understand? So hereafter, what are the two important points that you guys need to remember? Okay, minimum TP means immediately your mind should go where? Array yaar, supplying division. Okay, search for supplying division. Okay, see how much he has spent. Okay, this much he has spent. That's the minimum TP. Game over. Any situation, it's game over. Then okay, maximum TP, what I have to do? Okay, fine, see what is the money that receiving division possesses. Immediately search for the money, how much receiving division has got. That will be your maximum TP, and it's game over. Got the point? Fantastic. Right, Nana? So now what you guys do is that copy from here. After that, there is one more part which I have to explain. I'll explain you at the end of the sum. All of you start with it. You have your notes, you got to copy. So this 5 minutes will be a small break for me. Of course, I'll be here only. I'll be looking at your comments. You want to ask anything, you can ask anything now. I want you guys to copy fast. Meanwhile, when you're copying, you get any doubt, you ask me right away. Okay. Everybody has answered perfectly that it is goal conflict. Right, fantastic. You need to copy a bit faster. You got 5 minutes. Okay. Copy, guys. So when you're copying, what you do is that try to understand the concept and then try to copy simultaneously. Is that clear? So that you get any doubt, you ask me immediately. You got 5 minutes. Once you're done with this page, you just comment me over there. Sir, completed. I'll change the page. If you're done with copying with this particular page, immediately comment. I'll change the page. Okay. Okay, it's done. Next page. Akshay Agarwal, how many demo would be uploaded on YouTube? It's fine, Anna. As of now, it's 5. Maybe I can extend by 1 or 2. It depends. Right now, it's only 5, which means 2 more days. Sarath, I think I've shared your TP handout for you. Check it. I don't know why I'm trying to add you in WhatsApp. You have WhatsApp number, but it was not getting added. I don't know why. That's the reason you were not in the group. Otherwise, you would have received. You guys are done with this? Can I change? Second page. Confirm me. Can I change to the next one, Anna? Arey, when you say done second page. I'm not able to understand which done that is. First page or second page. Because there's a small lag between the way you comment and I'll be receiving. Okay. Next. Anyway, if you are not able to keep up with the pace, it's okay. The video will be there in YouTube only. No worries for you. You can happily pause and you can watch. Guys, understand one thing. Writing is very important. Okay. Especially for subject like us, where there is a lot of theoretical concepts. You got to write everything. Okay. And when you get doubts when you're writing, you can ask. That's another advantage. Third is you should always have your own notes. No matter Power Notes has been prepared by me and you'll be receiving it. I'm not saying no, but still your handwriting is your handwriting. It's yours ultimately. There is a value for something called yours. Okay. So just trust me blindly on that and move on. Yeah, second page is done. I hope I've come to third page. Once this is done, write third page done. I'll move on to the next one. Understand and write. Don't take this as a, what do you call, uh, a break. It's not a break. So I'm giving you a chance so that you appreciate, so that all the concepts should go right into your brain and there should be no doubt left out. We have 180 to 200 hours, Nana. I'm not at all worried about number of hours. We're gonna go steady. We're gonna repeat the concepts. We're gonna learn perfectly and we're gonna move on. There's no urgency whatsoever. And we'll ensure that we get 70 plus in our subject. And that's pakka. So many students have just listened my 9 days session when I took face to face and they've scored exemptions. So 9 days session, around 60 hours, they've scored exemption. So we are going at 180 plus. Nobody's going to stop you from getting 70. Okay, you just need to follow. Trust and follow. That's it. Are we done with third? Yeah, thank you. Fourth. Third is done. Fourth. Diksha, Nana, no, you're already there in the WhatsApp group, Nana. It's not a normal WhatsApp group, it's a broadcasting group. So you will not know that you're there in the group. If you get communication from my side, then that means that you're there in the group. Okay. So all those people who have got, the document message from me, the audio messages, the SCNP soft copy document, the transfer pricing document, all those people who have received from me, you are in the group. Those who have not received, you are not in the group, then you better WhatsApp me. I'll add you. As Sarath has messaged me. I don't know, when I searched him, it was not available, but now I've added him. Okay. There is no such thing called normal discussion group, Nana, because already we have a Telegram group, okay, called PK Sir discussion group. So there we can discuss. Or if you want a separate group, we'll see. We'll try to create something after 1 week. So let's everything get settled. We'll try to create. But right now, I don't think there is any use. Fourth page is also done. Okay, next. This is very simple. Typical example of goal conflict. Therefore, 35 is not a good TP. Yep. Done with the fourth page. I'll move on. This is a typical example of goal conflict. Therefore, 35 is not a good TP. Done? Chalo. Okay, this is the most important one. Copy this. RD means it is receiving division. SD means it is supplying division. Okay. Done with this? Sudama Gupta, don't worry about that. What decision we will take when MR is equal to MC? MR is equal to MC is a situation where profit will be maximum. Okay, it's a profit maximization model concept. We will see that when we go to chapter called pricing decisions. That's the reason I did not take it over here. When I'm taking that concept in pricing decisions, at that time I'll recollect this and then I'll explain you. Okay, right now you'll not understand because it's a model which we haven't seen. Okay, yeah. Done with the fifth page, all of you? I'm getting confirmation. If you're done with fifth page, I'll move on. I'm waiting for confirmation, guys, for fifth page. If you're done with it, I'll move on. Yeah, I'm getting confirmation. I'm moving on. Next. Sixth, transfer price fixation. Divide them into two. Minimum TP, maximum TP. Minimum TP is nothing but the money that is spent by the supply division, which is nothing but variable cost. I'll write it over here. Money spent by supplying division. Okay, maximum TP is nothing but money that RD means receiving division has got. Whatever the money that receiving division has got, that's your max TP. See, when we right now, this is the understanding. Okay, when we go further, things will change. Please try to understand. Whatever the logics that I'm going to tell you depends upon the situation of this existing question. When we go to further questions and when there is a chance of receiving division buying from outside at an external buying price, then things will change accordingly. What is that? I'll explain you when I go to the next sum. Right now, this is the understanding. Okay, step by step, we will learn. See, the first problem that we try to learn, we should not be putting all the adjustments. I mean, we should not try to put all the adjustments into one problem itself. Step by step, we'll learn and we'll move on. Right now, this is the understanding. Okay. So when there is a chance for receiving division to buy from outside, then what will be maximum TP? All those things will be different. That we'll see later. Right now, this is the understanding. Okay, chalo. Are you done with the sixth? We'll move on to the next one. Done, guys? Yeah. Next. Logics are very important, Nana. See, this is the understanding that I've got after referring so many books and my own understanding. I think I would have at least referred some 18 to 20 international author books because of my passion towards the subject. So everything that I tell you is the final, what do you call, the output, the understanding what I have. So therefore, you will not find these things in books. So consider this as very precious and then try to note it down. Done with this? Seventh page, okay? Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the last page. You copy this first and then I'll explain you. So transfer pricing, essence of concept. Minimum TP is nothing but cost spent by the supplying division. Maximum TP is nothing but money that purchasing division or receiving division possess. Okay, then below that we have something called, see here, similar procedure to solve any transfer pricing problem can be followed provided if following conditions are satisfied by the question. You understood that? First condition, there should be no external market for the intermediate product. If you look at this question, you have supply division called South division. What is the only choice that South division has got? It has to internally transfer to what? North division. Is there any alternative for South division to sell outside? No. Therefore, we have done this problem this particular way, where we went with units column, then final revenue, then further processing cost, then net revenue, net marginal revenue. We compared net marginal revenue with marginal cost, and we have eventually calculated. Now, the point that I would like to tell you guys is that this can be followed provided there is no external market, because if there is external market, things will change, because supply and division can sell to the external market, so totally things will change. So this is the first condition. Second condition, there should be no capacity constraint. What do you mean by no capacity constraint? There should not be any limitation on capacity with respect to the demand. You got it? Understand carefully. Capacity constraint means, say for example, capacity of South division is 10,000 units. This is the capacity. Just because capacity is limited, it is not capacity constraint. Suppose external demand for South division's output, that is intermediate product, is 12,000 units. Are you able to understand? Then this situation can be referred as capacity constraint, which means my capacity is less than your demand. When demand exceeds your capacity, then it is referred as capacity constraint. That should also not be present, because if it is there, then things will be different. What is that? We'll discuss later. 3. Fixed cost must remain constant. This is another important point. If fixed cost changes, then again things will change a bit. How is that? I'll explain you later, because right now this is the understanding that you have. So if you come across any question which satisfies these 3 points cumulatively, you can blindly adopt the same procedure that we have adopted for solving this particular sum. So this is the final conclusion. Okay, you can write it down simultaneously. So what is the final conclusion, guys? There should be no external market for the intermediate product. There should be no capacity constraint, which means demand should not be greater than the capacity. Third, the fixed cost has to remain constant. It must not change. If these conditions are satisfied, any problem, any situation, you can blindly apply the same procedure. Procedure in the sense, the last procedure we have applied, right? Fixation of TP. First column is units, second column is final revenue, third column is further processing cost, fourth column is net revenue, fifth column is net marginal revenue, sixth column is marginal cost. This procedure can be applied. Got the point? Anyway, that's it. Finish it off. We're done with this sum. We'll move on to the next one. Once you're done with it, tell me that last page is done. We're done with this sum. Are you done? So you put it in the comment section that last page is done. We'll move on to the next. Done? Okay, chalo, fine, fantastic, we're done with this. All of you are done? Yep. Right, Nana. Okay, so far what we have done, we have seen these basics. You remember the first day that we have done? Centralization, decentralization, what is transfer pricing, examples of interdivisional transfers, utility of transfer pricing. Then we have seen this first problem, a beautiful problem. From that, we have learned so many different angles of interpretation, correct? So that's what we have seen. Now let's move on to problem number 2. Now I'll be shuffling here and there. You guys need to understand that, see, just because they are, see, don't be kiddish. Like, for example, 10 sums on there, lecturer should start with number 1, then number 2, then number 3, then number 4. We are not 10th class kids, okay? Or SSC or plus 1, plus 2. We are CA final students. You need a bit of maturity over here. Even though I gave you a list of sums, in the way, in the order, it has been given by your institute study material. There is no rule that we have to go in the same order. So every lecturer has got his own perspective of the subject because of the expertise over the years and the experience that he has gained. So we go in a particular way. So you trust me and you travel with me. Is that clear? Understand one thing. We, having nearly 8 to 10 years of experience, seen so many attempts, we definitely do have a little bit of edge, correct? So that you have to trust, and based on trust factor, we'll move on. Okay, don't again ask me that, sir, after problem number 1 you need to go for problem number 2, then after 2 it has to be 3, then after 3 it has to be 4. Don't ask me these kind of questions. Okay, chalo. Anyway, shall we? Right, now we're gonna go for problem number 2 in the main material. See, so far we have done 2 sums. What are those 2 sums? Problem number 1 from the main material and problem number 1 from the additional material of transfer pricing. Am I clear? Now we're gonna go for problem number 2 of main material. Is it clear? Chalo. So what is the main material? ये नहीं, ठीक है? This is not main material. Chalo, we have the main material. Let me open it up. I gave you 2 documents, right? Yeah, this is my main material. This is your ultimate main material. Okay. Chalo. Got it, guys? Chalo. In this, we're gonna go for problem number 2. Where is it? Transfer pricing 57 to 67. Come on, let's move on. It's gonna be very interesting. I just love the new syllabus, guys, to be very honest. It gave me a new life. Actually, to be very honest, I was vexed up with old syllabus and I was teaching for international courses like CMA, USA, ACCA and all that. Then this new syllabus, thanks to ICA, to be very honest from the bottom of my heart, he changed it in totality. The new syllabus has been changed in such a way that it is totally relevant for the industry. See, that's the reason I've lost interest in old syllabus. You know, the fun part was when I was teaching old syllabus, there was this 30 marks stuff called OR, Operations Research. Since 5 years, in the sense, since, if I'm not wrong, way back since 2013-14, I used to explain in the class that for industry, it's totally irrelevant. That is this OR, Operations Research. It's not that important. So I never used to stress too much on solving huge number of sums because I know that it's not at all useful. And I used to say the same in the class, but people never used to believe me. And then if you cut the time and you see now in new syllabus, that particular part has been completely removed apart from a little bit of learning curve and linear programming. So that's why sometimes you got to trust the faculty, because no matter what, because of the experience and other things, they do have a little bit of extra knowledge when compared to you. Of course, when you also go for another 3 or 4 years of your journey in life, you will also gain equal expertise and experience. You got it? So that is where sometimes we need to trust and move on. So this new syllabus have gave me a new life. It's so beautifully crafted. Although I'll not say the same about your study material, but the way the content, what they're trying to do was so beautiful and meticulous that it's purely logics. They have removed all this nonsense stuff, problem solution, problem solution, problem solution. Everything has been removed so that you eventually develop skills so that you can perform well in the manufacturing industry. Now, this is more important. People don't understand the importance of what I'm saying. Education is not something like, as you have seen, everybody has seen Three Idiots movie and everybody wants to be Ranchod Das Chachad or Funsuk Wangdu in the movie, but once they come out of the examination hall, they're typical silencers. Okay, they're typical silencers. Everybody is actually a silencer. So when you ask them to become the Ranchod Das Chachad or Funsuk Wangdu, they don't want to, because that's what ultimately ICA is also trying to make you come out of being a silencer and become Funsuk Wangdu. You understand the point? I don't know whether you are able to understand what I'm trying to say, but that's what your institute is trying to do by changing the syllabus. Just imagine how much the syllabus has got changed. Everything has got changed. It's a tectonical change. Okay. Now, coming on to question number 2. Now, before we go to this question number 2, we need to learn some concepts and then we'll move on. It's a beautiful question. You'll understand why once we start solving. In fact, more or less every question is really good, especially when it comes to new syllabus, because it's no more number calculations and all. It's no more number crunching. It's all about thought process, interpretation and stuff like that. That's lovely, right? Because there is no need of spending hours and hours together to get exemptions hereafter. It's all about the quality of study rather than quantity of study. That sounds really good, right? Because I myself have seen so many students like that who are really intelligent, but they cannot just sit for 10 hours, 12 hours and they cannot work it out. That's not necessary. The good news is it's not necessary when it comes to new syllabus. That's how beautifully it has been crafted. I just love it. It gave me life, to be very honest. Otherwise, I would have been, to be very honest, Nana, let me be very frank. Many of my students, has told me that, sir, ye mein to ये तो नहीं लगेगा, because even there I was going with logics and depth and all that. Examination was not needing all that. It's just problem and solution, because I cannot teach that unless I teach the logics and difficult things. I don't enjoy the teaching profession. Otherwise, why would we resign the jobs in company and come to here? Because we wanted to enjoy what we do. 1 + 1 is equal to 2 doesn't give me any sort of kick when I explain that. It gives me kick only when I explain something that is beautiful, something that is intriguing, something that is depth. I mean, some sort of depth is there and some sort of twisty stuff like that. I enjoy them, So that was not happening. So I totally left it. In meanwhile, many of my old students know that for 1 year, and I went for CMA, US, ACCA, and civils coaching. I totally went into that because eventually I was preparing for civils as well. And then there comes the messiah of my life. That is the changeover of the new syllabus. And it was crafted in such a way that it exactly matches my teaching style. And I was like, voila, this is what I was waiting for. And I just jumped in. And after that, as you can see, suddenly there was a spike in the publicity and all these things. And suddenly everybody is talking about me. It's because of the new syllabus. And thanks to that. And you guys, I can promise you, you're definitely going to enjoy. And another interesting factor is that I've got expertise in automobiles as well. It's because of my passion and I'm totally mad about these things, and that also really helped to explain the concepts. You'll understand when we go on that I've received messages from many students saying that why don't you open a motor vlogging channel? You can just understand what kind of coverage we are going to do. So from this, I'll tell you another important thing. You want to appreciate our classes to the fullest. Then you have one job to do from your side. What is that job, sir? Very simple. From today onwards, you have a homework. What is that homework? Go and learn everything about automobiles, in the sense bikes and cars. For example, cars. How many companies you have got? What are the different models of cars you have got? At least you should have a basic idea. You understand the point? And then you have bikes. How many different types of bikes you have got? Normal commuting bikes like Activa, Jupiter. That's enough. I'll take only those examples and then I'll try to explain the concept so that you'll understand that, okay, SCNP is such a lovely subject. You'll fall in love with it. And so this is what you have to do. This is your homework. And it can't be done in a day or two. It takes time. So every day you try to get into that. For example, when I go to total quality management, I'll be explaining about quality cost, and there you'll get something called external failure cost. And immediately I'll say that Honda has launched its first diesel engine in the India, that is Honda Amaze. And then this was the complaint from the customer with respect to the diesel engine. And this is classified as external failure cost. Then you should not be looking at me like this. What the hell he's talking about? So once you know, okay, what are the different types of costs, what has happened, then you'll be able to correlate with the examples that will take the learning to the next level. Are you able to understand? So these are all the things that you have to do to appreciate. Then only you will enjoy Prasanna Kumar sir classes, that is speaker sir classes, to the fullest. So will you do it? Confirm me in the comment section. So you have to have at least names, that okay, these many companies are there, these many models are there. At least if you remember the name, it's fine. And if you can recollect the image of the car or the bike, it's fine. I'll take care of the rest. Got it? Fantastic. Okay. Yash Garg, I would like to ask a few double. I don't understand. I think doubts, huh? Anyway. Sri Shekhar, conduct online exams for or postpone exams to September. This is not the area to, talk about that ICA. Anyway, everybody is doing that. We'll see that. Okay, you have our group called Telegram group called PKSR classes. There we'll discuss about all these things. Okay, this is not the platform. Anyway, chalo guys, let's move on. So now, before we get to problem number 2, we need to learn something called transfer pricing methods. Okay, what are the different methods of fixation of TP? Very simple. Broadly classifying, there are 3 methods: market based, cost based, negotiation based. Market based we'll see now. Cost based can be further classified into marginal cost, standard cost, full cost, and cost plus markup. What do you mean by marginal cost? Marginal cost means that portion of cost which is changing. Many a times people feel that marginal cost is nothing but variable cost. To some extent it's correct when variable cost is the only cost that is changing. So when variable cost is the only cost that is changing, then variable cost is nothing but marginal cost. But variable cost and fixed cost, both of them are changing, then both of them put together will be called as marginal cost. See, marginal cost is anything that changes. Keep that in mind. I hope now you have got the difference. Standard cost, anyway, you have an idea. Once we go to standard costing chapter, you'll learn it better, but it is a standard that has been set by the company. Okay, standard cost, pretty simple. That's enough right now. Full cost, variable cost plus fixed cost put together, cost plus markup. It can be variable cost plus markup or fixed cost plus markup. Generally, it will be total cost plus markup. Okay, anyway. Got it? Right. So there are 4 different methods of transfer pricing with respect to cost, sub-classification: marginal cost, standard cost, full cost, cost plus markup. Normally it will be full cost plus markup only, full cost plus markup. Apart from that, we have negotiation based. That's nothing but, 2 divisional managers, they'll negotiate and then they'll finally arrive at a price. Apart from that, we have something called market price based. So now we're going to concentrate on the first one, that is market price based transfer pricing method. Okay, chalo, now see. Okay, before we get to that, now you people need to tell me one thing. What are the different methods of transfer pricing? Market price based method, cost based method, negotiation based method. You need to recollect and tell along with me. Okay, market price, there is no further sub classification. Cost based, yes. What are they? First one is marginal cost, standard cost, full cost plus markup. Mostly markup will be based on full cost only. Sometimes it will be variable cost as well. Anyway, then finally we have negotiation based. Ye to ho gaya. These are all the transfer pricing methods. Let's start with the first one. Okay, now what is the first one, guys? Market based transfer price means what? Your transfer price will be nothing but market price. Very simple. Market based transfer price means what, Nana? Your transfer price is nothing but external market price. So you will see the external market price in the outside market and that will be fixed as your transfer price. It's as simple as that. Okay, it's as simple. Is there anything to learn? Nothing, because it's just copy paste of number. Suppose in a question, he'll tell you market price is 30 rupees. What is your transfer price? 30 rupees, copy paste, that's it. There is nothing much to think. Then what is that we are going to learn here is positive points and negative points because of fixing TP as market price. That's what we are going to learn. Are you able to understand? See, fixation of TP based on market price, nothing you need to learn because it's just a copy paste of a number. We are not going to learn anything over there. But what are we going to learn right now? If we fix TP as market price, what are all the things that we are going to learn? What are all the things that will be plus for us? What are all the things that's going to be minus for us? That's what we are going to see. Now, let's start with the positive points. Now, see here. The first positive point is it is unbiased. What do you mean by unbiased? Who is going to determine market price? You tell me. You? Me? No. It's the market, right? The market forces. To be even more precise, the demand and supply forces, right? So therefore, is there any chance of getting things biased over there? No. Because it's neutral and it's fair because it's determined by the market forces. Therefore, the first positive point is this market price is unbiased. Therefore, nobody can argue. Neither the supply and division manager nor the receiving division manager because it is fair. You got it? Next. There is no ambiguity, no confusion, no dilemma. Is it clear? Why? Because market price is clearly visible. Okay, take that market price, put it over here, and that's your TP. Is there any confusion? No. So there is no ambiguity. Next, market price is competitive. This point we have already discussed in problem number 1. Okay, immediately when you look at this point, immediately you should be able to connect. That's what we call connecting the dots. See, always when you learn concepts, it should be like a reservoir of knowledge. Okay, say for example, this is your knowledge. Then you will construct a wall. This is another knowledge, construct a wall. This is another knowledge, construct a wall. If you're not able to connect them, then whatever that you have learned, the value is 0. So different concepts that you have learned, you should be able to connect them. Then it becomes reservoir of knowledge. Then only it becomes wisdom. Because knowledge is not power, wisdom is real power. Okay, knowledge is nothing but piling up of facts. If you just pile up the facts, it's not going to give you power. Piling up of facts means knowing things and then trying to use them when it is required only becomes real power. So therefore wisdom becomes real power. Okay, anyway, so the point over here is market price is competitive. Performance of individual divisional managers can be improved. How? You remember problem number 1? You have this division A and division B, and there I was talking about the receiving division. If it tries to buy, if it is allowed to buy from outside, what did I tell you? The external buying price can be greater than the internal transfer price. I think if I'm not wrong, internal transfer price was 12 rupees at that time. Okay. And I told you that if division B tries to buy from outside, there are 2 choices. It can be greater than 12, that is 13. It can be less than 12, that is 11. If it is greater than 12, that is 13, then it means that already supply and division is efficient because the market price is 13, whereas supply and division is internally transferring at 12, which means supply and division is more efficient than the market. Then the problem is with the receiving division. Therefore, receiving division has to improve their efficiency. That is one understanding. Second understanding is that suppose if the external buying price is 11, then it means that your supply and division efficiency is very bad, and therefore the B, that is the receiving division, will start buying from outside, and supply and division cannot internally transfer because receiving division is buying from outside at 11. I cannot transfer at 12. Then can I sell outside? That is also not possible because outside it is available at 11. So I'm gone. I'm doomed. Therefore, I will force myself. I don't have any other choice but to increase my efficiency and make it 11. So therefore, is it good for the company? Absolutely good. Are you able to understand? Because at least your efficiency of your company will be on par with the market efficiency if you fix your transfer price based on market price. This is a beautiful point. Listen carefully. If you fix your transfer price is equal to market price, the advantage of this is at least your company will be on par efficient. At least your company will be on par efficient. With whom? With the market. Are you able to understand? At least your company will be on par efficient with the market. This is very, very, very important. Your company's efficiency and the market efficiency will be exactly the same. Again, I repeat, company's efficiency and market efficiency will be exactly the same. That's really good, right? That's obviously good. Got the point? Chalo, moving on to the next one. Negative points. Okay, does it mean that market price has not got any negative points? Yes, it has got. First one. The first positive point was it was not biased because it was determined by market forces. Can it be biased? Yes, it can be in exceptional situations. The first one is predatory pricing. See, some of you might have heard a term called penetration pricing. Penetration pricing is different. predatory pricing is different. Anyway, we'll see all these different pricing decisions in a chapter called pricing decisions. Okay, right now just have an understanding. Predatory pricing means, in a layman terms, I'll tell you, I'll not get into the technical details. If a company prices its product in such a way that because of its sheer size, it wants to kill the existing competition, then that is called as predatory pricing. The intention here is ill intention. That is called as predatory pricing. Price discrimination means you will not sell at the same price to different people. It depends upon various factors. Depends upon geographical location, depends upon age, depends upon gender, and you're trying to discriminate based on your price. You will sell at different prices. In these cases, which market price you will take? Which means our market price will be biased. Are you able to understand? So therefore, I'm trying to tell you that this is one of the negative points of market price, because just now you told that market price is not biased because it's determined by market forces. Yet yes, it is correct, but in some cases it can be biased, and those cases are this one: predatory pricing and price discrimination. Got it? Next. Sometimes it may fluctuate widely and frequently. This is another big problem. अरे यार आप तो market price ले रहा, right? You are taking market price, वो तो सही है, लेकिन the problem is, if it keeps on changing, which price you will take? Today's price, tomorrow's price, day after tomorrow's price? It doesn't work that way. Second, and it is fluctuating widely. From 18 it's becoming 24, from 24 it's becoming again 17, from 17 it's becoming 23. Which one you will take? Then it becomes a real chaos, and you'll not be able to finalize a particular price. That's another negative point of fixing TP based on market price. Got it? Next. For some, this is the most fun part. For some intermediate products, market price may not be available at all. Sir, how is this possible? A very simple logic here. The intermediate product that you are manufacturing, let's say it is unique, and nobody else in the country is doing that. So when a product is so unique, intermediate product is unique, but finished good is normal. Please try to understand. Finished good has got a market price, but intermediate product, you are the only one who is manufacturing something like that. And it doesn't have a market outside because nobody else is doing that. In that case, there is no market for it. In that case, how will you fix market price? It's not possible for me to fix. So which means in that particular kind of situation, I cannot fix TP as market price, and that's a negative point. Got it? Right. Fantastic. So again, let's revise it. See you guys, very important. See, in new syllabus examination, please try to understand, Nana. He will not ask you direct questions like explain transfer pricing based on market price and give the positives and negatives of it, give the pros and cons of fixing TP based on market price. Like this kind of direct questions, the probability of getting asked is very low. So what you will find in new syllabus is that application oriented questions only you'll get, which means there will be a case study where a situation will be there, a circumstance will be there, and the transfer price will be fixed based on, say for example, some cost based, suppose, and there will be some problem because of that happening in the question. You need to read that entire story, and then he'll advise you what is the solution. Then there probably your solution might be, you better fix your TP based on market price. And then in the question, he'll ask you, what is your solution? And tell me the pluses and minuses of your solution. Then I have to write this way. Okay, fine. You fix the TP based on market price. And in case if you fix TP based on market price, these are all the plus points. These are all the minus points. Like that, I'll explain. Are you able to understand? See, this is the beauty of it. Many a times, that is one of the reasons why new syllabus, people feel that it is difficult. In reality, it's not difficult, but you don't know how to actually read it. Are you able to understand? There was another case also. There was something called Deming's 14 points. When I was taking RPL, that is Revision Premier League, the revision session, many people thought that it is an unimportant concept, and they were surprised because I've taken it. The fun part is because they felt it that way, because there was no attempt so far. I mean, there was a direct question where it was asked like, write Deming's 14 points. There is a concept, it comes under total quality management. Okay, just remember that, that's enough. And there was no direct question saying that write Deming's 14 points. So people felt that because there is no direct theory question like that, it's unimportant. It's not that way. The new syllabus is different. Deming's 14 points is important. Why? Because those 14 points, in that any one point, you can use it as your answer when you're writing points in any case study or a case scenario. So in some case study, they will be facing some quality related problem, and then you have to give an answer saying that this is the way you can come out of it. And when you're writing that answer, you can use so many points from those Deming's 14 points. You're able to understand. So the perception of new syllabus is totally different. Got it? Don't see it from different perspective. Saying that you'll get direct questions. What are the features of cost accounting? Something like that. What are the you understand what I'm trying to? Direct questions you will not get. That's what you will get it, but the probability is very less. Okay. Now let's try to recollect this. The first transfer pricing method that we have seen is market price, and we have seen plus points and minus points. What are the plus points? First one, it is completely unbiased because it is determined by market forces. Second, there is no confusion, there is no ambiguity because market price is clearly visible. Third, market price will make your divisions competitive. That we have already seen in problem number 1. Next, coming on to the negative points, I said in the positive point that it is completely unbiased, but it may not be completely unbiased in all the cases. There are exceptional circumstances. Example, predatory pricing, price discrimination. We'll see it in pricing decisions. Next. Also, I've told you that sometimes your market price may fluctuate widely and quickly. Then it really gets confused that which market price I should be taking. Third, sometimes your product, that is your intermediate product, may be very unique that there is no market price available for that. Then in that case, how will you fix your TP based on market price? Are you able to understand? These are all the negative points. Anyway, now you copy this down, we'll move on. Okay, from here. Copy this, guys. We'll move on. Meanwhile, you got any doubts, you can ask me. Sri Shekhar, I have understood your doubt. You better message me. I'll explain you. Okay. 9246946444 is the number. So that's where you have to WhatsApp. Hemalata Rajeshwaran, I got confirmation from her that she will, yes, indeed, learn about these bikes and cars. I did not get confirmation from rest of you. Okay, confirm me, Moku fellows. Confirm. Right? Now you copy this. Once you're copied with that, you tell me. Page 1 is copied. Yeah. Once our session gets finished, you'll have a notes with you. And that is all that you need. You need not touch your study material. Is that clear? I make myself very clear. Once you're done with our session, you'll have a notes. And that's all. You will revise and revise and revise for your exams. I got confirmation from Diksha, Chetan, thank you. Okay. Anupama is also very interested in automobiles. Thank you. You'll love it. Okay. I got confirmation from Hemalata that page 1 is done. Chetan also, he said he'll do it. Thank you. Diksha, yes. Okay. I'll move on to the next page. Next one, guys. Finish it off. Page 2 is done. If you're done, just put a message over there. I'll move on to the next page. Are we done with page 2? Yeah. Finish it off. Then we'll go on to the next problem. Okay, and if you're done with this, we'll move on to the next problem. Okay, I think we are done. So let's move on to the next question. Ready, guys? Yep. Right, take question number 2 of your main material, the main material document which I've sent you. Question number 2. So in main material, all the questions that we have got is from your ICA. Okay. So let's have a look at the question. A manufacturer of cornflakes has two divisions, one producing the cornflakes and another packaging division that manufactures cartons. The production division purchases all the cartons from the packaging division, which means what you need to understand. This is the purchasing division. Who is that? Production. Purchasing or receiving division purchases all the cartons from packaging division, which means this is the supplying division. You got to be very careful when you're reading question. Okay, so who is trying to buy? Production division. From whom? Packaging division. So packaging is the supplying, production division is the receiving. So production division purchase all the cartons, which means from packaging division, which means packaging division is manufacturing cartons. So your intermediate product is cartons. Okay. Then what else we have got? Production cost incurred by packaging division for similar volume of cartons is given. So this is the manufacturing cost for cartons, and this is external market price from outside vendors. For 5,000 cartons in the market, it is available at 77,000. Whereas if you manufacture on your own, it can be manufactured at 75. So it's quite natural that when you manufacture on your own, the price will be less when compared to the market price. Next. The production and sale of the final product, cornflakes, or as below. So this is your final product, or we can also call it as finished good. So volume, number of cartons of cornflakes sold, 5,000. Total cost excluding the cost of cartons. Cost of cartons is nothing but intermediate product purchase cost, correct? Excluding means total cost excluding cost of cartons means you have excluded intermediate product purchase cost, which means these two are what cost? FPC, further processing cost, or you can also call it as own cost of the receiving division. Are you able to understand that? 1,20,000 and 1,80,000. And finally, you have sale value. That is, if it is packed in cartons, how much is the sale value is given, right? An appropriate transfer pricing policy is being framed as the corporate management accountant calculate transfer pricing method based on first one, shared profit relative to cost method, and second one, market price method. Show the profitability of each division under both the methods. Discuss the effect of both the methods on the profitability of the division. This is the touch of new syllabus. The first question is quite normal. You just need to fix transfer pricing based on shared profit relative to cost method and market price method. And you got to show the profitability of each division under both the methods. That's fine. It's purely numbers. I'll do it. But the second part of the question is unique. Discuss the effect of both the methods on the profitability of the division. This is where I need to write theory answer, which means I got to write interpretation. That's what makes new syllabus really challenging. You got it? As usual, first you read the question minimum 2 times. We'll start. Read the question, guys. Done with the reading, Nana? If you're done with your reading, we'll move on. Okay. Okay. Chalo. So now we are going to solve problem number 2 of your main material. So I gave you the soft copies. I want you guys to have it in front of you. Okay. Problem number 2. Okay. Now let's look at the question. What is the first part of the question? As the corporate management accountant calculate the transfer pricing based on shared profit relative to cost method. Okay. Let's write the heading first of all. Calculation of transfer pricing based on shared profit relative to cost method. Okay, that's your first heading. Calculation of transfer pricing based on shared profit relative to what, Nana? Cost method. Correct. Now, Many of you might be having this doubt, sir. Just now we have seen something called transfer pricing methods, and you said it's divided into two. You said that so we had something called market price based method, then we had something called cost based. In cost based, we had marginal cost, standard cost, full cost plus markup, and then we had negotiation. Nowhere we have seen something called shared profit relative to cost method. Now this is the problem that you need to understand. Why majority of the students, they don't get expertise in SNP, or why they find costing difficult is this: costing is not law. That's why very few people will get expertise in this subject. You need that specific bent of mind. I'll tell you what are the qualities you need to become expert in costing. So you want to become expert in costing. It's a good thing. Why? Because anyway, we are going to be manufacturing company. I mean, in that sense, manufacturing is going to really boom in future. So definitely you'll have very good career in costing. In fact, that will be number one in coming years. So if you want to get expert, I mean, if you want to become expert in costing, what is the, I mean, what are the qualities, attributes that you need? First one, you need to have open mind. What do you mean open mind? Open mind in the sense you should not have any expectations. For example, see, when you're trying to watch a movie, you get into the examination hall. So if you have open mind, any movie you can enjoy. But if you have a closed mind, for example, you're expecting hero introduction should be like this, there should be some commercial elements, songs, comedy, that, this and all, then you cannot enjoy a thriller, for example. You cannot enjoy a neo-noir film with a kind of disturbing ending. So therefore, you should have an open mind for costing. So whenever you come across any sum after learning a concept, you should not have any expectations that the sum will be like this. You should have open mind that it can go any way it wants, but then I should be ready to accept. If you have that, then you'll be easily accepting the sum. When you're able to accept the sum psychologically, you'll be able to produce the solution. See, it all works in a psychological manner, very important. So the first thing is open mind. Second, imagination. Imagination is another great skill that you need to get expert, I mean, to become expert in costing. Imagination in the sense, you just need to imagine, like, how it works. You understand the point? Okay, when I try to read a question, I should be imagining, like, for example, okay, this is what has been asked in the question. If I need to calculate this, then I need to calculate this. If I need to calculate this, I need to calculate this. If I need to calculate this, I need to calculate this, which means first step will be this one. Second step, third step, and fourth step. So we call it as imagination. I call it as a visualization of the answer. Are you able to understand? So whenever you read a question, the answer must be visually imagined in your mind. Only then you will write, I mean, you will solve it faster and you will solve it in a precise way. So imagination is another great skill you need in costing. Next. So the third one is confidence. Many times what happens is, many of us, we feel that we cannot solve a sum which we haven't seen so far, which we haven't touched so far. That's a default feeling that everybody has got. The moment they see a problem, they will not even try. The first perception is, the moment they see a problem and they feel that it is something that they have not seen so far, straight away the understanding or the conclusion straight away is that I cannot solve this. So you should not have this sort of mindset. Then you can never become expert in costing. So the mindset that you should be having is like, accept that you're confident enough to solve the sum. Yes, I've already learned the concept. So if I can apply my brain, I will be able to solve it, even though it's altogether a new problem. You should accept it. That confidence must be there. I've talked to so many students. I've told them, Bolke, like, Are yeah, target 90 plus in costing. The moment I say that, they laugh. They laugh on my face and they say that, sir, for me and all, 90, how is it possible, sir? 60 itself is see, if you don't have confidence on yourself, who is going to change your life? It's as simple as that. So you yourself have decided that you are not useful for that. I mean, you are not worthy of getting 90. It's a very bad thought process. If you have this sort of mindset, winning is a very difficult, forget about difficult, it's impossible for you. So therefore, these are all the mindset changes that you need to have an open mind. Open mind means, I told you already, what do you mean by open mind? Ready to accept everything. Second, imagination, because costing is a practical subject, Nana. In Germany and all, what they actually do is that when they try to teach you this concept, they actually take you into the factory and they actually show you how things are happening. So in that case, definitely it becomes interesting and it's easy for you to understand. But unfortunately here, we don't have all this facilities. Moreover, ours is not a manufacturing hub. And the other thing is that we don't have the 3D technology where in like in Doom 3 movie I can show you the 3D images like Iron Man movie and all. So that's also not possible. So therefore, or we so to appreciate the concepts, when I say production line, then immediately you have to imagine, okay, production line means I've seen in so many movies or something like that. There's a track of something that's going on, just like a track where a car will be present in on the track, the sheer shell of the car, the external skeleton of the car, and then it goes on and they'll try to put the engine into that, the tires into that, and then you have to imagine, okay, production line means it will be like this. And then whatever the concept that I try to explain, you need to imagine what are the imagination that's running in your mind. You have to link it with that, then only you'll get better idea. So if you don't have that imagination skills, then this will be a nightmare. This is the reason why many of the students even today, they find that costing is a very difficult subject, and this is the one subject that I need to get at least 40 in group 2. Remaining subjects I'll manage, that is DT, IDT as well as elective paper. It doesn't work that way. Got it? 3 skills, learn. Chalo, we are done with this. Now see, अब हमें क्या करना है? Very simple. देखो, I need to fix TP, transfer price, based on shared profit relative to cost method. Is this a method that I know? No. Is this the name that I'm listening for the first time? Yes. Still, can I solve the problem? Absolutely yes. How? Look at the name, shared profit relative to cost. What do you mean by that? Calculate profit for the company. And you have 2 divisions. Share the profit to both the divisions in the ratio of cost. That is the meaning, na? Very simple. Shared profit relative to cost means what? First of all, why should you share profit? When I talk about transfer pricing is nothing but a price. Price means what? Cost plus profit. Price means what? Cost plus profit. Are you able to understand? So, when I am trying to fix transfer price, it is simply my cost plus my profit anticipation, correct? That is nothing but your price. Shared profit relative to cost method means I will share my profit relative to cost, which means in proportion of cost. So based on this method, what I have to understand now, you see how imagination helps you. So what I have to imagine, okay, which means first I need to calculate profit for the company as a whole. Now this is very important, Nana. This is the reason why you're coming for classes. In books, all this thought process will not be there. Will he give you in books that first you should think this, next you should think this? No. So listen carefully. Okay, first I have to calculate profit for the company as a whole. And then once I get the profit, in this profit, this much of share will go to the supply division based on his cost out of the total cost. How much the cost of one division is in proportion to the total cost, that much profit will go to that particular division. Therefore, finally, cost plus that share of profit will give you transfer price. Are you able to understand? Chalo, anyway, once I put the numbers, you'll get a better understanding. So, first and foremost important thing is what you need to understand to calculate this TP based on shared profit relative to cost method. First, I need to calculate profit for the company as a whole. First, I need to calculate profit for the company as a whole. Are simple logic here. Only if you have profit, then only you can share the profit. Na? When you don't have profit, where is the question of sharing? So to share the profit, first I should know what's the profit for the company. So first step is to find profit for the company. Samjh gaya? This is the way you will start. Okay, chalo. So here I'll put A because it comes under first heading, that is calculation of TP based on shared profit relative to cost method. Under that A, calculation of profit for company as a whole. I need to calculate profit from company's point of view. Got the point? Okay, now look at your question. How to calculate profit from company's point of view? Very simple. Particulars. Okay. I'll have 2 divisions. That is, you have, what is the first division? You need supply division as well as receiving division. Now, what is your supply division? What is your receiving division? You see there? Look at the question. Production division purchases all the cartons from the packaging division, which means production division purchase. So production division is receiving division. Who is the supply division? Packaging division. So we have packaging division and then we have production division, and then we have total. Total is nothing but company. Total is nothing but company. Got it? Okay, now see here. First, I'll start with sales. Is there any sales for packaging division? No, it is a supply division, so there is no sales. Is there a sales for receiving division? Yes. What is the sales for receiving division? Now here again you have two levels. So first under this I'll put 1. This is 5,000 units level because you have got two levels now, 5,000 units as well as 8,000 units. So first whatever I'm calculating right now is for which units level? 5,000 units level. At 5,000 units level, what is the revenue of the receiving division? That is production division. Look at the question, all of you. Look at the question, all of you. 5,000 volume sale value packed in cartons is how much? 2 lakh. So 2 lakhs is the revenue of production division, which means total revenue for the company is also 2 lakhs. You don't have real sales from packaging division. It is not selling to outside. Okay, next. What is the next thing I need to reduce? Less cost. What about the cost for packaging division? 75,000. Correct? For 5,000 units. If you manufacture on your own, look at your question. 75,000. Production cost incurred by the packaging division for similar value of cartons. 5,000 cartons, the cost is 75,000 given in the question. Okay, got it? Then for the same 5,000 cartons, what is the further processing cost? The further processing cost is 1,20,000. That is nothing but cost of production division. Look at the question. Total cost excluding the cost of cartons for 5,000 volume, which is 1,20,000, which means it is FPC, further processing cost. So what is your total cost in that case? 1,95,000. Correct? That's your total cost. I'll keep calci here. So now you got to calculate your profit. So what's your profit? 5,000. Is that clear till here? So what did I do? I tried to calculate profit for the company as a whole. How did I do that? There are two levels, 5,000 units, 8,000 units, right? So first I took 5,000 units. I need to calculate profit for the company as a whole, which means I need to calculate profit from company's point of view. So I took two divisions, packaging division, production division, total column, which is nothing but company. First I started with sales. Supply division does not sell, so it is dash. Receiving division sells to the outside customers, so it is 2 lakhs. Total will be 2 lakhs. Then cost is there for both the divisions, which is 75 and 1,20,000. I've put it over there. I got my profit, which is how much? 5,000. Similar way, I need to calculate profit for next level of units. What is the next level of units? 8,000 units. 8,000 units level. Earlier, I've calculated how many units level? 5,000 units level. Now coming on to 8,000 units levels here. Again, the columns will be what? Particulars. Packaging division. Okay, you have the same stuff over here. Production division. Then we have total, which is nothing but column for the company. Right, Nana? Same, I'll start with sales. Do I have anything here? No. For 8,000 units, what is the sales level, Nana? 3 lakhs. It is given in the question. Look at your question. Total is also 3 lakhs. Okay. From this, we need to reduce costs. What is the cost of packaging division? 80,000. Look at your question. For 8,000 units, it is 80,000. What about further processing cost? That is the cost of the receiving division, which is production division. 1,80,000. So total cost kitna re? 2,60,000. What about your profit, Nana, then? 3 lakhs minus 2,60,000, 40,000. Okay. So now we got profit. For 5,000 units level, it is 5,000. For 8,000 units level, it is 40,000. ये तो हो गया. Fantastic. Now we need to calculate TP based on shared profit relative to cost. How to calculate that? See here. TP based on shared profit relative to cost method. Okay, first I'll do it for 5,000 units level. Okay, how to do it? Now see here. Listen carefully. TP based on shared profit relative to cost method means what? Transfer pricing is equal to cost plus profit, correct? Price is nothing but cost plus profit. What profit this is? Share of profit. That implies you are fixing TP for whom? For whom are you fixing TP? You always fix TP for supplying division. And for your kind information, who is the supplying division over here? Packaging division. So I'm fixing TP for whom? Packaging division. Now, for 5000 units level, what is the cost of the packaging division? 75, correct? 75 is the cost. Kya aisa what? Look at your question, all of you. 75,000 is the cost. Now, what about the profit? Share of profit. See here, very simple. What is the total profit for 5000 units level? 5000. 5000. This is the total profit. Out of this profit, how much share will go to supplying division, that is packaging division? What is the cost of packaging division? 75,000. Out of the total cost, that is 1,95,000. Correct? So in that proportion, it will go 75,000 divided by 1,95,000. So at 5000 units level, my total cost is 1,95,000. Out of this 1,95,000, cost of the supplying division, that is packaging division, is 75,000. In that proportion, my cost out of the total cost, in that proportion, I'll get the profit. So which means how much it comes? Into divided by 1,95,000. It comes around 1923.0769. Okay, so 1923. Let's put it this way. That implies. So kitna re? 75,000 plus 1923. 76,923. ये रहा आपका transfer pricing based on what? Shared profit related to cost method for 5000 units. Now let's do the same for second level. What is the second level? 8,000 units. Now this you people will tell me. 8,000 units level. You people will tell along with me when I'm going to solve. Before I put the number, you should tell me. You should tell me. You're sitting at your homes, I know, you should tell me. Now see here. What should I write first? Transfer pricing is equal to, all of you. Tell me. Cost plus profit. Good. What profit? Yeah, share of profit. Done? Now, that implies for 8,000 units level, I'm fixing TP for whom? Supplying division. Okay? Supplying division is nothing but what in this question? Packaging division. For packaging division at 8,000 units level, what is the cost? Look at the question. Packaging division at 8,000 units level, that is 8,000 cartons level. You can call it as cartons also. Okay, or you can just write a note in the question, units is equal to cartons, then you can write units also, no worries. Okay, which is how much? 80,000. Correct? So 80,000 is the cost plus. What about the profit? The total profit at 8,000 units level kitna re? 40,000. We have already calculated. Out of this 40,000 profit, how much will be the share for supplying division? Supplying division cost is 80,000 out of the total cost of 2,60,000. Supplying division cost is 80,000 at 8,000 units level out of the total cost of 2,60,000. So it will be 80,000 by 2,60,000. Got it? So 40,000 into 80,000 divided by 2,60,000. So you get 12,307. That implies. So 92,307. That's your TP. Kya re? Done. 92,307. Ho gaya? We have fixed TP based on what? Shared profit relative to cost method. That's it. So what did we do? We don't know the method earlier. We just try to understand the method from the name itself. Shared profit relative to cost means what? I will share my profit in relation to my cost. Means what? How much my cost proportion of my division with respect to total cost, that much of total profit I will share to my particular division. That is the logic. So based on that logic, what did I do? First, I have calculated profit for the company as a whole for 5,000 units level, for 8,000 units level. After calculating profit for the company as a whole, I went for fixation of TP. How did I fix my TP? I know that transfer price is a price. Price is nothing but cost plus profit. Cost, for which cost I have to take? I always fix TP for supply division. What is the supply division here? Packaging division. So I just went for cost of the packaging division at 5,000 units level, which was 75,000. And I know that I need to add profit for that. How much is the share of profit? Out of total profit in relation to the cost, you will get the share. So straight away I went to this particular step. I have seen that total profit is 5,000 and my cost, my means packaging division cost, is 75,000 out of total cost of 1,95,000. So in this proportion, that is 75 divided by 1,95,000, you will divide 5,000. So I took 5,000, I multiplied in this proportion of 75 by 195. I got the answer share of profit for packaging division as how much? 1923. So the total TP became how much? 76,923. Same logic we have applied for 8,000 units level. Now, what are the important points you need to learn here? The first important point is, okay, imagination, we are doing everything. When you're learning costing, don't be rigid. What do you mean by rigidity? Is a very big disease that will stop you from getting good marks from SCM and PE. Means, I've seen many students, what they actually do is, when they see this particular problem after learning concepts, they will straight away look at the solution that is given by your ICA. For example, just a second, wait, this is very important. Now listen carefully. Where is this transfer pricing? Here it is. Okay, see Anana. First problem we have done, transfer pricing methods we have seen. Okay, this is second problem. Can you see that over here? You see this? And look at the solution. You see how the solution is. The answer will be same, but the way it has been done will be different. You see the first step? Can you see that? All of you? Right. Look at the second step. This is the way it has been done. Comparatively, we have done it in a different way, correct? But the answer is going to be same. And even our presentation is very good. It's, in fact, to be very precise, it's even better. We have presented it in an even more neat way. Of course, I've rounded up and I've shown you all those things, but this is even better. Are you able to understand? Now, the point that you have to understand here is rigidity means, I've seen so many students, what they eventually do is they look at the solution when they're practicing in the study material and then they try to replicate the same format in their answer. You should not do that. Very bad thing. It's a big mistake. See, the more flexibility you have, the easier the subject will go. See, I know what has to be calculated. So you will have a natural flow. In that flow, you have to solve things. Only thing you have to ensure is that whatever I write, it has to be understood by the examiner and the answer has to be correct. That doesn't mean that this is the way it has been presented in ICA study material, the format, 3 columns, 4 lines. I have to exactly put it that way. If you try to replicate that, then you are bringing rigidity into your preparation and that makes things very difficult because you have to exactly replicate the same. You will not have natural flow. Are you able to understand? And then you have to repeatedly revise it so many times, which means for a guy who has got flexibility, if he does the same sum in, say, for example, 20 minutes, you need 1 hour to read the same sum and then eventually write it or reproduce it in the examination hall. Same logic applies for the theoretical aspect as well. You see the answer. After this, you have got this entire theory answer. That is the second part of the question. I have also written this, but I take the essence, but I write it in my own sentences. I will not try to replicate the same as it is. Sentence 1, sentence 2, sentence 3. Come on. This is one of the biggest mistakes that students do. Even in the classes where they're taking coaching also. That's the reason nearly 50% of my sales students come as a second sales. In the sense, already they would have purchased classes and they say that, sir, this much money I've wasted, I have to buy again. You please help me out in sort of discounts and all that. Eventually I help them out. But the problem is this. Don't be rigid. You try to be flexible. You understand that? Flexibility means your natural flow. In your natural flow, you need to write the answer. Now, did I do any magic over here? Nothing. I just went with my natural flow. See, for me at this moment of time, how my mind works, how I want to present the answer, I'll present it in that particular way. Are you able to understand? Don't restrict yourself to the way it has been given in the study material. Okay, this is the format, this is step 1, this is step 2. No. Answer has to tally, and it has to be presented in such a way that people can understand. That's the only target. This is very important. Take this advice very seriously. And of course, you'll be able to, sir, how to do that means I'll show you how to practice that, because anyway, every problem is going to be done by me. So what you can do, if you have a free time, you compare the answer that is given in your study material with the answer that I gave you in the class. So you'll understand to what extent I took the flexibility. Got the point? Right? And then slowly you can develop the skill, and tomorrow nobody is going to stop you. I'm telling you, even if the entire paper is going to be of new questions, you will be the only people who will solve it with ease. You will not at all worry. I can guarantee you that. But for that, you need to just follow whatever I'm saying. Okay. So now we are already time up today. So what we have done, we have just fixed transfer pricing based on what? Shared profit related to cost method. Tomorrow we'll revise so far, and again we'll go with the rest of the sum. We'll move on to the next sum as well. Right, guys? So thank you so much. We have certain things here. Travel and food bonkers. Thank you for your classes, sir. Thank you, buddy. White Devil. This guy is back. Try to watch Factory Made in Discovery. Yeah. Yes, that's one thing that I advise. Mukka Manoj, can you start fast track classes? I'll see, Nana. If there is time, I'll try. Okay. I hope it's done. I've answered all of you guys. Chalo. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Let's wind up the session today. Bye-bye. Tomorrow we'll meet again. So another thing is, just inform your friends here if they are not aware of our new recordings, latest recordings that have started, the new classes. So let them be aware so that they'll get the latest. Okay. Chalo. Bye-bye, guys. We'll meet tomorrow.